Happy Hump Day. So, we live in central North Carolina, and in my little section of the state, well, actually, there's a big chunk of the state that's under a tornado warning. Here, check it out. It's the red stuff. You can't miss it. And so, what is preceding our tornado, if we do end up having any touchdown, is terrible, terrible thunderstorms. And every time we get thunder, we end up getting snow within 4 to 10 days afterwards. It's not just an old wives' tale, it's a fact. It happens here, it's happened all winter. And then everything goes crazy and the state kind of closes in our area because we're not equipped to deal with snow because we really don't get enough of it to invest in that many plows and salt and sand and brine and all that other good stuff. So we kind of just roll up the streets and everybody stays inside or gets in accidents. It's just insane. I guess the main problem with all the accidents is on television they're saying if you don't have to go out, don't go out. But everybody thinks that they're invincible. And then they go out and these foolish people, they think that the speed limit is like how slow you can possibly go. So if they see the speed limit's 50, they'll do 50. It doesn't matter whether weather conditions allow for it or not, and they slip and slide and crash into each other and hit telephone poles and go off roads and go into gullies, and then first responders have to risk their lives trying to help these no-driving fools that had no business being out in the first place. Because where were they going? To go hang out with a friend. I mean, people just don't think. And so when we're having these terrible storms, we get a lot of flash floods. And then people drive through this standing water, and then their cars go off the road and go into lakes. And again, first responders have to risk their lives bailing these people out. Stay home, people, if you don't have to go out. Stay safe. So good to get that off my chest. Now, for my next thing, I want to talk about, see, if you live in the Midwest where you're accustomed to having an awful lot of tornadoes, or if you live way up north, or out in the mountain areas where you're used to getting a whole lot of snow, you know how to handle it. And it's not like the biggest news that happens because it's a fact of life. But around here, if we have hurricanes, or we have snow, or we have a tornado warning, we have a couple of stations, WRAL and this other one, Channel 11, ABC, they are on 24/7 with the weather, and that's all they talk about constantly. It's weather, 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 with a little bit of a commercial break and more weather, 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 and it's nuts. And if you're into daytime programming and you have your DVR set, you're gonna go to watch your show one day and you're gonna see these Looney Tunes reporting the news all day long, and all of the programming that you DVR'd is just gonna be them, so you can watch it over and over again. And a couple weeks after every major storm, they do a special for 90 minutes on the storm. You would think the news owned television. Well, actually, the media thinks they do. But that's a different topic. And there's one meteorologist. I don't get why they call them meteorologists, because meteors are those, things that float in the sky. Anyway, there's one meteorologist, his name is Greg Fischel, and he's been with WRAL forever, and the guy is practically drooling. It gets kind of creepy, my mom says, that when the weather gets bad, because he has this gleam in his eye where he's just wanting a tornado to touch down, she says, so that they can go and report it. And then there's another newscaster with WRAL, his name is Gilbert, and they have him down south of where we are, down near Fayetteville, and he's standing outside pointing at puddles behind him, oh yeah, the weather's really bad. And my mom laughs because he's bald, and it's not funny that he's bald. He looks like we can't picture him with hair, but what's funny is the fact that he's bald, and they have him standing in front of a stationary building, okay, and he's talking about look how the wind's picked up. And he's got a stationary building behind him. And so you don't hear any wind blowing, and you can't see his hair blowing or a hat flying off of his head. So it's like, well, we don't really see much any wind blowing. So I don't know what you're talking about, Gilbert. So put on a fake wig or hold up a flag or something so we can see the wind blowing if you're talking about it. I mean, we need a visual. And it's crazy because when we do have hurricanes here or gale force winds, they usually have a female reporter, and she'll be outside in this pouring rain and gusting wind, and she'll be trying to keep her hat on and trying to hold her coat closed and hang on to her microphone and not blow away at the same time. And you can barely hear her over all the wind gusts, and she's getting pelted in the face with all kinds of stuff. And they're saying, well, you really want to stay inside. Lady, set an example, go inside, okay? We're not fools. There's no way that you should be doing that. You can't get paid enough to take that kind of abuse and put yourself in danger. Go inside and be a role model. And now, if that's not bad enough, WRAL, they have the 5 Drive, where they have this lady and man who drive all over the place with this wide-angle lens, driving on all the streets in the snow and in the rain and everything else, telling you to get off the roads. What? Like, what do they have to do that? That's dangerous.
The roads obviously are very slick and wet, but people do seem to be taking their time. We're going to keep an eye on the downtown area. Also, want to mention that we stopped by a couple of schools. It looks like the schools are cleaner. They've done a good job of being efficient and getting...
Silly humans. So I hope that everybody in our viewing area stays safe, and you don't go out and get carried away by the wind or anything like that, and that your critters are all safe. And I'll be thinking about you, and hopefully we won't get any property damage, because we had a whole bunch last time around, just with the high winds from a storm. But what I want to know is where you are in your neck of the woods. Do you have newscasters and meteorologists like salivating over bad weather? Or is this just a North Carolina thing? I want to know, seriously. Alright, so please share down below, and I will see you on a Friday. Alright, I love yous. Bye.